Welcome back, everybody, here to your coverage of the D2CL European Division. We're going into our last game of the night here for the Join Dota Red live stream before we come back tomorrow for the Chinese finals. Lower Bracket Plus Grand Final. Going to be a terrific event at 10 CEST tomorrow. For now, in we go. Game number 2, Balkan Bears up against the Alliance. I am Toby1. I am your English host for the live stream.
Remaining.
And joining me is Blaze. We're coming back again, man, and looks like we're pulling out the classics from Magnus' first pick for Alliance.
Yeah, really fun to see that, and obviously they're going to be building a lineup around this hero to really accomplish things. I love Slark in particular because the way that Empower interacts with Essence Shift just makes this pretty much one of the strongest late-game duos you can imagine. Like Magnus Sven, you might be able to rank it up there, but in general, just if you get a good RP and you have a Slark who hits fast, that Essence Shift and Empower is just going to do so much work.
Yeah. That's it's probably one of the major problems right now the Balkan Bears is looking at. Okay, well, Magnus can't run away. He can't deal with the amount of damage output which Alliance is going to deal.
5 seconds remaining.
Laning-wise, how does that even function for them? Like, we throw, what, this Magnus to the mid? Do we throw a Slark off lane? How are we looking at this for Alliance to make sure they still find these levels to get that Empower buff up on the Magnus?
I mean, they don't really need to coordinate that until a little bit later. I still would assume that Loda's taking the Slark to the safe lane, but Magnus should probably go mid here. Although he has the option to go to the off lane, I don't feel like you're going to get the blink timing that you really want, and you need to find tools to engage. A lot more often nowadays, we see instead of the Slark going for the blink dagger, he just goes for Shadow Blade. A lot of good attack speed and damage, and he can go for some good solo kills on heroes like Skye. And so in that case, yeah, I think the Magnus blink timing is pretty critical to make sure that they still have the tempo that we saw in Game 1.
I just want to see his Empower timing. Like, I'm not even feeling the blink dagger is going to be the primary thing. Unless you were talking about the Slark blink dagger. Is that what you were talking about?
No, I mean, I definitely think like setting it up is going to be important there because like Slark isn't naturally tanky. He has good escapes, but like if he's caught by an Ancient Seal or something like that, they're still going to be able to cause a lot of problems. So I'd like to see the Magnus go in first. But I mean, still Slark could definitely go for the blink dagger to follow through quickly or to find his own quick picks.
10 seconds
Okay, because the way I'm seeing it happening is just that Slark gets an early blink dagger, gets an Empower buff up, and then destroys everybody. Getting caught by the Mystic Steel with, like, when you got a blink dagger on a Slark really shouldn't happen because you just blink yourself in and you dark pack straight away. And the Skywrath Mage reacted before you're capable of dark pacting. It's kind of off. If you got vision, then it should never happen. So if it happens, shame on you, Loda, because you'll be the man playing the Slark tonight.
So BBC really need to follow through this draft with some ground target disable. Earthshaker is perfectly fine and very popular right now. Sand King would be all right if they want to play farm oriented, but Batrider's taking the jungle, so it's probably just going to be the Shaker, and that's going to give them some good lanes. But yeah, the big thing here is making sure that Slark isn't able to act the way he intends to. Get any kind of control you can. The silence before the pact is great, but like you said, there's issues against a Blink Slark. And of course, he's eventually going to get a BKB, presumably. Because, I mean, right now, you're up against a Batrider. Napalm and Lasso are pretty easy to see coming and to dispel. And as long as you aren't going to be pressured by the other disables. So I would say second or third item BKB.
Dire team pick.
All right, now the man who works perfectly up against BKB is going to be the Lion, selected in for Alliance. So hexes, stuns, and all that good jazz. It's still not a direct counter up against someone like a Batrider until you're capable of having your Blink Dagger. They could always just go for somebody else. Like you could always just pick up something like the Disruptor, which would also function quite nicely with Magnus as well as the Slark. Also the Lion in a way.
10 seconds
Primarily because you're just getting great lane presence more than anything else.
5 seconds.
And Alliances really have a scary late game. It seems cheesy, but honestly, it's a very viable build to go for like a second item, Aghanim Scepter for the Lion. Go blink into Ags, and any RP is just instant kills. So I gotta say, Alliance are just drafting so that they have as much late game security as they want to, and as long as they execute well in the early game, that's gonna be fine because all three of these heroes can still bring something to the laning phase. I'm not sure about the Avenger though. I mean, up against a Slark, it just seems like all these disables are so predictable. Unless you catch him off guard with an Ancient Seal out of smoke, I really don't see the Slark going down here.
Yeah, I don't see it either. I really don't. Like, Balkan Bears have to get the perfect initiation off to make it work up against Alliance. And normally that's something you say when you're looking at a Magnus team. Whereas
seconds
this
remaining.
one hero that can change it all for you. Like, find yourself a
5
Powerball and
seconds
go nuts.
remaining.
But this lineup right now, I feel like Alliance has just got
Reserve
the
time.
strength here. Especially in the laning phase. Like, that's the reason why Disruptor came to my mind before. And if it is just going to be something like a Chen, or even an Enchantress, either way, I wouldn't be bothered, coming the way of Arche, then you've got a jungle factor to take into consideration, which means BBC have more pressure on them to make sure that this VS and Skywrath Mage are capable of moving around the map and ganking. Because if they can't do that, then they don't keep up with the economy that the Alliance is bringing in.
Yeah.
It's exactly what we do get from Alliance.
Dire
And
team
Falcon Bears now, they have to commit a lot more smokes a lot earlier on. While Alliance don't really have to. Like, they can wait a couple of minutes and then commit the smoke with the Chen and the Lion after they've found level 2, level 3. So then you got double the disables or potentially heavier nukes, or heroes in the lane who have more damage to give through Shockwave, Dark Pack, Pounce, all that kind of jazz. Falcon Bears, it really is on them to do
10
something about
seconds
this.
remaining.
I don't even care if they've got to run an aggro tri lane with that VS and Skywrath Mage.
5
They have to
seconds
get in the
remaining.
faces of Alliance early on, and don't let them just run a normal progression through their
Reserve
items,
time.
because then they're going to lose this game.
Most definitely. I mean, right now it seems like they're drafting just completely ignoring the Slark factor. You can pounce so many of these abilities, you can dark pact all of them, and now you've got the Hand of God. Like, they don't have an Ancient Apparition to stop healing. They don't have Ground Target disabled to deal with him when he's in his Shadow Dance. This Slark is going to live through everything, and this is Loda we're talking about, so he knows how to play this hero. I really got to say that BBC's picks following through have to be absolutely perfect if this is going to work. Either that or they're going to have... So, I don't know. I really like... They're going to get Storm Spirit, good tempo, but they gave... If they had the Chen ban, I'd feel pretty good about that. But since they're up against Chen Lion, you got the Hex, you've got the follow-up Centaur Stomps, you've got RP. There are plenty of ways that they can control him if the Storm doesn't see the Lion coming out of smoke or blink.
Yep. Because he has to be inside a ball lightning when it all happens. Alliance, just again, this is more of a respect ban, more than a ban where they think that the Meepo is going to be picked up. So Mad just takes him out with the last one. But the Balkan Bears, it really does feel like they've just gone full glass cannon initiation style. And that they have to battle before
10
they
seconds
can
remaining.
get these items to do something about it. Like, you talk about the Lion jumping out of smoke. Imagine if he
5
does have a
seconds
Blink Dagger,
remaining.
even after the Storm Spirit's got a BKB. No fight is guaranteed. Primarily because you're still
Reserve time.
going up against Hand of God, and you could potentially have a Lion jumping in with multiple disables, which are perfect up against the Storm. And then we still have to consider Magnus. You still have a Magnus RP as well. Like, we talked about Centaur with the Centaur follow-ups, which are coming out from Arce's Chen. But the Magnus has the greatest stomp of them all.
Sure. So, I mean, there is a possibility of some good quick silences. Skywrath's Ancient Seal is instant, so you see the Magnus blink in, you can prevent the RP, maybe an Orchid on the Storm Spirit if they're doing really good, which I assume they have to snowball this game because we've already kind of hit on how Alliance's late game is just incredible.
Yep.
But, yeah, other factors... I'm actually curious to see, you were talking about the importance of that Lion Blink Dagger, and for the most part we see when Ake is on his Chen, he is a purely 4 position.
seconds
Unless his jungle is warded up, he's going to be focusing mostly on himself and a little bit on the lane as needed. And then that puts Mad firmly in the 5 position where he's not getting much for himself. Do you change that up a little bit with this Lion Blink being just as impactful as anything else?
I wouldn't see a need to, primarily because Balkan Bears are the ones that have to initiate. It's not you. So... as long as Mad's able to read the play of BBC quite well, then he's just got to be sitting behind the right hero.
Yeah.
And then he can be their follow-up. Because BBC, the drag back from the Bat Rider won't happen with the Blink Dagger, with the Force Staff, until Lion's probably sitting at the point of getting the Blink Dagger as his second item. Then you won't really care yourself, or you buy Force Staff yourself. It's... yeah, I don't see a real problem with it at all.
Okay.
Just because of the way it transitions and the timing of it all. And Alina will be our final one from Alliance. So we're actually running a core Lina in the hands of Pycats. They find their form of damage. I say that means we're probably looking at a Nikwa Magnus. Because it's definitely not... it's definitely... Loda's playing the Slark. There's no doubt about that whatsoever. But I doubt the Pycats can be taking up the Magnus when the Lina cores on the field.
Yeah, it's definitely Lion or Lina core, and Lina's been much more popular in that
10
capacity and
seconds
makes sense
remaining.
with the Chen. You can actually set up things with line stuns, Lina not so
5
much.
seconds remaining.
So, yeah, I believe Pyket Lina, Nikwa, Magnus, he has played it a few times before, relatively
Reserve time.
successfully, but I guess he does have to watch out for the Avenge and Skywrath flank. I'm actually curious if he is able to get a ward out this time, or if with the Spirit Breaker, it kind of still gets dewarded at that juncture that he
10
chooses,
seconds
but...
remaining.
Beyond that, yeah, Alliance draft looking terribly strong, and
5
BBC, they're down to the
seconds
last few
remaining.
seconds.
Yeah, make the choice, and they finally get something with a little bit of life behind it, and that's going to be the Bristleback. And he'll be a number 1 position Bristle too. So farm him up a hell of a lot. He works really nice up against the Slark because it's continuous physical damage. The only thing that's going to really save the Slark is going to be either pouncing away or the Shadow Dance. And Magnus is not really that much of a battler up against the Bristle. And Bristle's capable of also surviving the initiation coming out from Lina. Lina and Lion put together with like something like Penitence on top of him, that will be a little bit more of a question mark. But either way, it does cap off the BBC lineup kind of nice. Because now I'm liking their laning a little bit more, and I'm liking their mid-game potential a lot more.
Definitely. I think the Bristleback really brings this lineup together, and it gives them a good shot at it. The way the matchup between Bristleback and Slark works out,
10
generally
seconds
speaking, is that
remaining.
earlier on, Bristleback's going to make Slark's life pretty difficult
5
because the Quill
seconds
Spray
remaining.
keeps on. You can keep hitting it through Shadow Dance. He's going to take a lot of physical hits, and early on, his armor's not great because the Essence Shift really doesn't kick in. But when it comes down to like a 5 or 6 slotted Slark, then he's just going to, even though the Bristleback is so tanky, the Slark just gets... like dozens of right clicks off on this Bristleback, every single hit stealing his essence, and with the Scotty factor, he's probably not going to be able to run away from it. So he'll mitigate the damage, he'll return a lot of physical, especially amplified by Vengeful's Wave of Terror, but in the end, it's still Alliance's late game, and BBC are going to have to be as aggressive as can be with this lineup.
Yeah. I'll see if they've got it in them. I'm wanting to know if they also want to buy this first smoke. In fact, RK's already on that as far as his purchase. He's not using it now, of course. He's waiting a little bit longer. But what's going to come out from BBC? Very, very late for the Bat Rider to get out of the blocks on the bottom lane. So he's going to be watched as he puts down that Observer Ward inside the Radiant jungle. It will be the safe lane Bristleback with the Vengeful Spirit supporting. Skywrath Mage hovering around, and that puts Weeha as that Storm Spirit into the mid.
Is this a jungle Magnus?
Please God, no.
I mean, I know it's usually
No.
like in those videos on the Dare side.
No,
But...
no, 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 no.
See, the worst part is if this succeeds, you're going to see it on all your pubs for the next week.
No, we're not. We are so not. All he's here for is waiting for BBC to try and come for some 4-5-man movement into the Radiant jungle. That's going to be the only
30
reason
seconds to battle.
why he is here.
Okay. I believe you, but I still think it's possible that if he feels too
he's
much
moving
pressure
now.
up top...
He's moving now.
Okay.
There's no
Okay,
gank. There's
okay.
no battle. There's no joy to be had. All he wanted to do is maybe level up Skewer and push someone up on top of a cliff, or I don't know. Like, but it's definitely not a jungle madness. How would you
You
even
never know.
run that? You could stack and farm with Shockwave, but
Dude,
you
you
still
were
need-
talking about the early in power. He gets that pretty quick.
you would. You could, but
Ready to burn.
that kind of bonus damage and cleave isn't really enough to.
I could see it working if your offlane is abysmal and there's no way you'll survive. But I think Nikwa's going to give a...
That means
good
you could see it working if you realize that you have no other purpose in life than shining shoes, and you're all out of shoes. What do you then do? You just shine the frickin' rock that's sitting next to you. That's the equivalent of that Magnus saying, yeah, he can accept doing the jungle. I think Chen just screwed up his own camp here, unless they just dewatered that.
Oh, no sentries. Nothing to take out. So, yeah, he's just going to go for high ground.
Actually, they did find one. They found the Observer Ward. Because the Baron Rider's not carrying it anymore. So
Yeah,
they
no,
must have planted on the bottom rune, and that's where the Sentry Ward is.
Yeah, but that camp wasn't blocked by anything, so it's just Ake's movements, but it's not like he's going to take much advantage of that. He wants to high ground play on the hard camp of the west, and then just micro against the medium camp first.
The only issue would have been if he thought, oh crap, maybe I didn't block that one, maybe it was just the ward, then he would waste a sentry. I want to keep my eyes pretty close here on the mid lane, where Storm Spirit up against Lina, because the Storm could just go for this high-level overcharge and pound as much damage as he possibly can directly into the Lina. Get the bottle up and running so we can spray and pray a little bit more. Because Lina went for the Null Talisman build as opposed to Storm Spirit, who just went for the basic Mantle. Never completed the Null. So that bottle will be coming up faster for Storm.
I like the Sentry Ward pulled up to Magnus on the top lane. He knows they put down a lane ward to better zone him out, and if he's able to take care of that, maybe he'll get close to the creep wave. Right now he's only gotten 41 experience for himself, so almost could be getting more in the jungle here. So I think that he is going to need to take care of that ward and hope that they miss a pull or two, because if they just keep the creep equilibrium back, then that's going to be a real problem. You see this hookup right now with the centaurs and the dire creeps, and that fixes the fact that there are so many range creeps in this setup right now. You've got, like, if counting the wave that's back there, you've got 5 melee creeps, 3 range. Yeah, they're pushing pretty hard, but it is going to be a nice pull through from the hard camp on the side.
And what does Magnus do about this? Like, right now he's trying to find some CS.
Well, he can go in the river.
Well, he can go in the river, but he doesn't have skewer. So getting himself up a cliffside or away from harm is going to be difficult. So if he does come down and he gets himself in range, well, I suppose the VS doesn't have boots first, and the Bristleback also doesn't have boots. So yeah, he's actually okay to do that.
So at the very least, he leeches half the experience from the neutrals, but you do lose everything that the Centaurs last hit as far as the dire creep experience. So that's quite frustrating. Do have a disconnect here. Obviously, YapzOr, he was looking to stack this camp, and it looks like the timing will be missed due to some unfortunate technical issues. But beyond that, he's not really contributing much to this early game here. He didn't even start with a clarity, which kind of surprises me. Like Skywrath Mage, he's a spell spammer. He wants to really weaken your HP pool from the onset, and we're seeing that he doesn't really have the sustainability to do that, so he's mostly on jungle duty.
It's time to go. No more delays! Pike had already held us up before during, I don't say even during the game, it was directly after the draft. I want to keep my eyes pretty close as well over on Bucky Mad. Gotta stop getting 5 or 6 napalm stacks on him, allowing the Pat Runner to hit him.
Yeah. So he can go for some anti-jungle play. He's got 2 rings of protection, so he can deal with the physical damage coming out from the Chen. But we do have an Invis rune on the Skywrath. Unfortunately, without a Vortex, they're not going to be able to get any type of kill. They're still going to try for it. The Overload slow might be enough. LSA coming through, but it is going to be that last combo of spells and attacks to bring him down.
Okay, was moving up, but just not in time. So first blood in the mid goes the way of BBC. Nice start for them. They got to keep that momentum up because they still end up killing off Alina, who's able to quickly farm. Like it's again these flash farmers you see in so many Dota 2 games. They just run in the mid. Because Lina, with the Light Strike Array as well as a Slave, you can practically take out a creep wave in one hit until you hit like the 25-minute mark. And you can definitely take out a whole bunch of camps with just one single combo.
Yeah, and of course she's a very big kill presence when she hits her level 6, so it's not like you can prevent her without pooling a lot of heroes, and that takes away from the side lanes. But Nico's kind of getting a little bit far forward here. Doesn't have that much vision behind the tree lines, but it's got to be all the skills to connect here if he's going to be brought down. No mana for Skewer, I think that's the important thing, but Concussive Shot is pretty much at the maximum range right here.
This Skywrath Mage has been dropped out again.
Ugh.
And he's the man that wants to get close, and yeah, Omicron, our admin, who's on the job. I love how players have started doing this as well. I don't understand the... Well, I understand the reasoning behind it. 1, they're bored. And 2, it's like, don't worry, we got the mini-map covered. The no way of cheating. Shouldn't be usual. It should not be usual. That's why you protect yourself, boys.
Definitely. No tactics here, but it is pretty unfortunate for the Skywrath because he obviously could have been contributing more than just with that Invis rune, and he's losing time rapidly. So I think this should be a kill on the mag since they do have the Viscous Nasal Goo as well, unless a TP comes in. But YapzOr, again, is just at that range where Concussive, he has to walk a few steps to get in Concussive range, and then that might be putting him too close to the tower. So it's just one of those timing issues and ping issues.
Well, the admin's laying down the law. There are rules established for this. You have 10 minutes to get your player back into the game. and starting again. That's how much time you have in total as well. So even if they disconnect out, you only have 10 minutes in total once they come back in. Or once they don't come back in. Or they disconnect again. I know Sebastian was telling me earlier this morning just how much work he did to protect himself from any form of DDoS. It's like off almost everything. And the things which he had to use, they were protected with multiple layers of protection.
Yeah, definitely.
Just
It's kind of protecting yourself from that kind of stuff is like an uphill battle. There's just so many resources for the people that want to do it, and players they just don't generally commit to it. But yeah, layering it up it's going to give you like a 95% chance that you can break down whatever they're trying to do to you, and sometimes that's enough.
Yeah, because if they really do hate you enough, they're going to track you down. Like there's nothing you can do about that. I still remember telling. I think I've told the story previously, but not for a while now. But back in Australia, the entire scene, esports scene, was shut down because there were two primary hubs that were running down there. One was CyberGamer and one was what was it? I can't remember what it was now. But there was another website. Let's just call it GG for now. But both the websites got DDoSed. And it was 2 months without any esports in Australia.
Wow.
Because we couldn't get them back up again. And there was no way you could afford enough protection to deal with that. But the person who did the attack got caught. Because he bragged about it.
Oh, gosh.
He was a 1.6 player. They got banned from both of the site's competitions because he was caught hacking during a competitive game.
Naturally.
And then decided that he would request people attack the sites and shut it down, and the request was granted. So he was seen as the grand architect, the initiator of it all. So that went down well. That was terrific. And
obviously it's frustrating for everybody involved. The viewer, the caster, the player.
Yeah.
It's just nobody wins with that one.
Apart from the person who's got everyone talking about him. Alright, we're starting again. So, good to go. We got our first spot out of the way previously. I think we also should probably keep our eyes up on the top. The Skywrath Mage is gone again.
Oh, gosh.
Because Levi came in and did the stun, and the Skywrath Mage hasn't moved forward. The Bristleback also
went back to base a little bit.
Start.
Like, yeah, he just went back to base for a second too. Like he went I don't know, a few hundred units, and then he got back under control. So it's just this is completely destroying their gank. I mean, they still have some potential to kill this Magnus, but with all the time to think about it, I'm sure Alliance can make at least Lion rotation. Yeah, he's got his TP. So I say Lion TPs, and they save the mag. And in the meantime, mid, the smoke just dispelled, but they don't know about that high ground position. So I think top lane will be diffused with the Lion's assistance, and mid lane seems to be pretty passive too, considering the tower position.
I'm wondering if there's actually... Well, there's no point to keep the line in the bottom lane. Because there's no one there.
Yeah.
You've got Batrider who's actually tried to abandon his bottom lane to come into the jungle. There are some stacks here. There's one set of mud golems, so sad boys. But there is, in fact, a triple stack with Hellbears, Centaurs, and Satyrs. So there's something for him to farm up. But I highly doubt RK is going to let him have that. He's got a Centaur and a Troll, so the perfect control units at this point to go up against someone like the Batrider. Actually, with his nuke, can he I don't know if he can solo kill the Batrider.
If he was level 4, definitely. But the lower rank of Test of Faith, like even the top roll, is just going to be 100 pure damage instead of 200. So pretty big difference. And yeah, I don't think that... I mean, he's going to get... No, that's not his bottle. So just the boots coming out on the courier. And yeah, Ake can bring him low, but I don't think he's going to get the kill. The War Stomp only does 25 damage, and Chen has a maximum of 100 on the Test of Faith. So it's got to be Lina coming into at least a Dragon Slave.
Well, we have our Skywrath Mage back inside the game. And we'll see if they do try and continue on their path on top. Looks like there's a little lines being drawn saying, "RK, can you please move in towards the mid and kill off the Storm Spirit?" That's what it looks like.
Yeah. I think Weeha's playing it safe, though. I think he'll just wait for his courier under the tower, and Batrider's got that covered, too.
Well, Nick he cuts his shot. Obs, he's dead. Mad will come in for the double stun, but it's all just that little bit too late for him.
And Batrider almost went up this hill, but he actually just took the northern route. So he goes around. The courier is actually vulnerable here, flying or not. They could be getting a few auto attacks on it, and Ake's going to go.
Yep. Oh, he's got the troll trap, and then I give him all the time in the world. Oh,
no!
7 HP. 7 HP. It was not enough. And I think that actually came down to a very uncharacteristic miss micro from Ake.
Yeah.
Because he needed to attack with the Chen before he went for the trap, so he got the initial attack in there. Right now, though, he's trying to hang around inside the dire jungle. They're realizing that that this Batrider is attempting to take every single creep. But he's unable to do it. Pyka came in with the slave. In fact, Mad was the one who took a large amount of those kills. Took 3 of them with the Earth Spike.
And Batrider gets almost nothing. Like, he gets the experience split among 3 or 4, but yeah, he doesn't get much as far as gold goes. He's still sitting on the same items he was and same gold pool. They're looking to maybe dive up top. Levi down to 280 HP, but it's hard for Mad to get in that position, especially with the Skywrath Mage returning to the top lane.
Oh, attempted denial. Now with a pounce over on the Batrider loader. Trying to play around with the Batrider, but he's out of the Shadow Dance. He doesn't have leap, pounce, that thing. So he will end up going down the bottom lane, but up on top, where's the collateral damage? And it's going to come. It's on Skywrath Mage. Shadow Nuke's coming off cooldown, and Chen will get it off in time, so the Magnus can finish the job with the Shockwave. Now the Hex going into the Bristleback. They need a little bit more damage on him if they want to find the kill, but there's no more control left available. There's only a Wild Wing as well as the Sada. There's not that much to play with, so it ended up being a safe lane hero for Alliance as a trade-off for a support hero for BBC.
Yeah, looks like since they're here, they might try to put a little bit more damage into the tower. Right now, the slow whittling away of that tornado against Adela, and then they've got the shockwave and the tornado for the creep wave. But you're going to have so many supports coming in, and you have no mana on your key heroes here. So I think it's just going to be some harassment and falling back to base. Ake is actually sitting on 0 items right now, but 1,000 gold.
Oh, you're right. Why wouldn't you just buy boots? It's even if you're going to go for the buckler straight up, then you would still buy, like, what, chainmail or something.
Midas is the only reason that you'd spank this much gold. And if they want to really secure that late game and get to it that much more swiftly, then that might be the option.
That would be one way to do it. Not quite sure if it's the most efficient way for a Chen. Because you could always just move back to your own jungle, stack and farm with the tornado. That's not a problem at all.
Exactly. And then also, you're trying to get 4 creeps for your Holy Persuasion, 4 good ones. So your Midas thing is probably going to be on the lesser satyrs and stuff like that, and that's not the most efficient when you're looking for higher ranks in Hand of God.
Either that or you're just playing the money game. Make sure you can get Mech and Ag and Scepter before 25-30 minutes in. The Midas would help you to do that.
Sure.
I don't think it's going to take you the whole way, because you still need to buy your boots, potentially arcane boots as well. And Mag can't sacrifice himself all the time. Yep, they found the Batrider. With the Slave and the follow-up stun, Light Strike Array, everything's going to be working perfectly to kill off the Batrider. And the Observer Ward, which is already planted down previously by Alliance, sees BBC moving north.
Yeah. Storm's got haste, though, so he can keep chasing.
He can only chase Arcade. There's the Storm. Oh, no! He actually... he mustn't have seen him. The Skywrath Mage, like, must have been able to see around this tree line.
Sure.
So the Storm went up and completely bypassed the target.
So, Nighttime Vision strikes retreat for Ake, and he actually does go for boots and smoke. So, although he's still banking a lot of gold, it doesn't seem like it's going to be that Midas approach, because he would have certainly recipe'd up if he had that option.
Mistakes were made on bottom lane. He lassoed a creep.
Oh boy.
Slark was very, very low. In fact, Loda was in range of the tower, and he was able to shadow dance himself away to safety. But as he did that, the Batrider still ended up clicking in it and clicked the creep as opposed to the hero. Problematic. Very, very problematic.
Certainly. It's got to be a psychological loss just as much as it is the cooldown. You're like, just like, you feel on tilt with every mistake that's to that degree. Of course, it's almost impossible to really get a good lasso off without Blink Force or just even the Blink Dagger, but just missing an opportunity like that, it just puts you in a bad mindset for the rest of the game.
It doesn't help when you're also being watched like a hawk. That observer ward on the cliff side now, BBC's going to have a very hard time. Okay, well, with Firefly, I suppose that is one way you get an advantage. But Alliance have always been a better prepared position, and you can't just jump them. You can only see them when your Firefly's up and running.
Yeah. And it's going to be on mid lane that he goes in. He's going to get hit by the stun, though, so he can't just keep on spamming Ball Lightning.
The second line was TPing in. Weehaw had to move back. Because then it would have been a Hex into a stun, and he would have been dead.
Yeah. So he gets a Soul Ring, a lot of potential mana to work with here, but it's not actually in stash still. So even though he's in Viz, I don't see him bringing down Pycat. He definitely could try for it, but he's got 7 stick charges. The stun is only at 1 second duration, so no, it's a support kill or nothing at all.
Gank, 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 gank. A little Levi back behind the tier 2 tower. I say very happy Levi back behind the tier 2 tower because he's not going to get killed there. Moving this far out, however, that opens up the can of whoop ass a little bit more that Alliance can dish it out to him. Just need to get close enough for Mad to get the Hex. And Levi, he walked far enough to the left. The pounce up from the Slark not going to work. He just go for the big amount of damage, which will be finished off by the Chen Shadow Blast. Missing the Sun Mad, that's costly. He won't have enough damage, he won't have enough life to survive that. Even after RK was trying to send him back. Yep, it's also not a healthy man. I think Lotus sees it as well. He'd love to go for the kill, but there's not enough mana for a pounce. So he needs to find somebody else on this field. And that's gonna be the Bristleback here, who just chases down RK, killing him off. The Troll Trap, is it available? 1 second. 1 second. Storm's killed the Magnus in the meantime, so we've actually got a 3-0 going the way of BBC. They're going to get the revenge onto the Bristleback. Levi does run himself in too. They kill off the Hellbear. Now Pycat on the stun. Weehaw. There's the haste rune going to work. Dragging Pycat back up again. We're on a 4-for-1 trade-off here. BBC. They're dishing out the deeps. And they're finding the kills.
Yeah, a little bit of luck, but a lot of really good movement to respond to the situation across the map. They were able to get the lasso to keep the Magnus in place for Weehaw to get up there. He got a very lucky haste rune, which allowed him to participate, not only running up top, but then TPing to mid and getting involved there. So they clean it up very nicely, and they get some much-needed momentum because, yeah, they're on the clock. I would say 35, 40 minutes is their comfort zone for winning this game, as they are up against Lotus Midas.
The problem is, though, with just this advantage which they achieved, they repair the damage that Alliance did previously. So they're still 3 kills ahead, but economically and experience-wise, they're ahead a little bit more now. But with the economics, Alliance was still running a Chen. This was still the problem we flagged during the drafting phase. The BBC have to be very effective with their ganks, and if they're not, like this for example, they just smoke ganked on Mad, they'll swap him back in again, he might have time to get a finger off, he won't, but Levi's going to drop, so he got support for support. Pycat might be the quarter drop, however. He needs to hit this Lion Strike Array over on Weehaw. Laguna Blade committal as well. Weehaw, he eventually goes down to the Magnus Skewer. But we're on a 3-on-2 trade-off, and you gave 2 supports and a core for a core and a support. And one of those cores already spent all of his money, so this Lena has practically got a Yule Scepter.
Exactly. Yeah, she's looking really good right now, and although of course she doesn't really profit from that, her team does substantially, is that Magnus, that offlane Magnus that might have had a pretty bad blink timing. Now he's going to be able to pick that up at 13 minutes. Not bad at all. And then he'll start ranking up that Empower, getting the Slark involved as a team. Because right now it's kind of spread the map, get low to farm, and he's doing really well just pretty much by himself on bottom lane while all the activity is top and mid. But soon enough they're going to start grouping, and they're going to be able to get a lot of kills as a team. Attila, Lotus stalking him right at the Ancients, and yeah, no getting out of that one.
No.
He could have TB'd immediately, but...
Well, he might have. I think you want to stick around a little bit longer and help out with some damage with the Dark Pack from Loda into a Shadow Dance. He has to pounce himself into the pit and away from the Storm Spirit's vision so he can regenerate, running as quick as he possibly can. While the Skywrath may just finished off the Chen, they're going to lose the Skywrath, allowing for Lion, of all people. Mad just picked himself up a triple kill, and Loda, He bought the space because Weeha spent all of his time chasing Loda and not helping the rest of his teammates.
Middle tower is under attack.
Really wanted that kill. Obviously, top net worth is one to bring down, but just didn't have the mana to support it as he wanted to follow through. And that just means that Loda just sets up a perfect team fight for the side of Alliance, and they're going to move forward with all the tools they need to take a fight. Their ultimates are going to be coming up at a relatively good time, other than the Finger of Death, and they don't need that to secure the kills. They've got the Blink Magnus, and they can probably just go mid.
Well, we'll see if that's going to be their choice. Right now, we've seen Mad move up to the top lane. He's got help coming. That's the Mag to TP in, so Nick was going to arrive up on top. That's where they're feeling the attack is coming. Lion doesn't have Finger of Death, however. He's only got the disables.
Oh, the Yule's combo just does the exact amount of damage he needs, and Weeha doesn't stand a chance.
How did he get in close? Like, did Weeha try and jump him?
No, he was just sitting, farming on his own side, and just TP forward, walking up, getting the Yules. I guess he just didn't check the inventory fast enough.
Maybe.
The fresh Yules.
Keep my eyes so close on this top. But Nick was not finding the opening. The Dire side have no idea he's there. Like right now, it just looks like Lion's farming up. And Pycat's pushing mid. That's the only heroes they have vision of. Arke, as well as Loda. Sitting inside the Fog of War, back inside their own jungle. Loda needs to find better mana regeneration on this Slark. Because at this point, he pounces in Dark Packs, and there's not that much more to speak of. It's got a Clarity moving at the moment, too. And that he almost lost the creep wave.
Yeah, so not really using his Dark Pack to farm. He's got it maxed out, so it's really efficient in the jungle, but overall he's still just going to use his auto attacks and health because he has pretty much unlimited HP. But yeah, those mana issues are going to plague him for some time. Do you think he follows through with... Oh no, he's going to Shadow Blade, so it's going to be a really mana-intensive game for him. He's going to need a couple Arcanes.
Yeah. And right now, Arce's only just finished the mech, so he can't help out there, and there's no way Lion's going to be buying up Arcanes. Maybe it's going to be a little bit more efficient. You could have gone for something more like a Ring of Aquila. That might have been a work for you, but it's kind of a little bit too late for that too. You're 15 minutes in. You don't want to be spending money like that.
I guess you do have the Test of Faith, which means you can get sent back home, then TP the front line, make your gank happen every time your Shadow Blade's available. But nah, it's going to still be him constantly switching over to Intreads for his spellcasts and staying near the Magnus and the Chen when they have their arcs.
I think that mana's going to be enough for him. This Chen army is still waiting for some kind of initiation on top. VS has been patiently waiting. While the rest of Alliance keep themselves a little bit more hidden until this moment. Pycat caught out, put up on top of a cliff. He's still got Eul Scepter revival. And, well, there's that Eul Scepter up. He's going to hit the ground, look for the start. Mag RP catching out too with the Mystic Flame. He's going to skewer them both back down again. Pycat, he's still alive. He's got Mud Golems up here with him. He's actually trapped here. There's 3 Mud Golems caught on a cliff, but he's still able to do the damage. Down to Bristleback. He's being drained out at the same time. Arke, he's dying to the Dire Creep Wave, which for some reason is also down here. A double stun out from Mad. And they're looking for more. This Chen army chasing up further. Can he get close enough towards Levi? Not going to happen. Or maybe he will. The Shockwave Loader will arrive to finish the job on the Vengeful Spirit. The Chen army, all 4, they're surrounding the Skywrath. Stomp number 1, Stomp number 2, and just stomping them all down. Meanwhile, Chen dying again. He got killed by the Dire Creep Wave. And these Mud Golems, normally they're sad as hell. But how did you, 1, get 2 Mud Golem camps to spawn, and 3, 2, put them up on a cliff?
They're so confused right now. Like, they don't even know what's happened in their poor little world. Ugh.
I don't understand my life right now.
Is under attack.
Wow. I've never seen something like that. But the RP actually, pulling them down to fight a King of the Hill battle. And that was just wild and wacky.
They got cramped. They got cramped so quickly.
Exactly. But, I mean, they pull through pretty well on the side of Alliance. Obviously, it started off as just a quick pick on Pycat, presumably, but although he's pulled up, he's still able to get everything he wants off with the help of Alliance. Some great stuns from him, the RP. This is what Nico was made for.
He did his job, and he did his job well. A little bit messy, but he got it done. We're not going to call him the cat burglar. Maybe a hired gun. attempted to gank here from BBC. They're going to find Nicola, Blink Lasso, dragging him back. That Mystic Flare, it's going to melt the life points of the mag this time around.
Look at all these creeps up top, though. I mean, these are real bruisers. They go in with the triple stun, the Hellbear clap, slowing them down. It's going to be hard for any hero but the Bristleback to feel confident in that.
Levi, he actually jumped himself in here. There's a large amount of damage to Loda, but Shadow Dance will keep him alive. You'll back him up. The Chen army still sticking here with a blink in for the stun. That's number one. Stomp. Wait for the second one with a Laguna Blade from Pycat. But to find the kill, they'll move in towards the tower. So Mag might have been lost up on, well, down in mid, but up on top, you take 2 heroes, take a tier 1 tower, and the push shall continue.
Yeah, the farm coming out from the side of Alliance is now just hitting new levels. They are exponentially increasing. Pycat is 500 golds away from the Aghanim Scepter, and who can survive against that kind of damage? It's just going to be ridiculous. Even the Bristleback will have a hard time against this pure damage output. As he's just kind of going the Vanguard SNY, it's not bad, but as long as Pycat's facing the front, as he expertly did when they had the Bristleback chain stunned, that Laguna is just going to take out majority of his HP.
Speaking of Laguna, it's now buffed already with the Ags. So you've got Finger of Death and you got the Aghanim Scepter. Should also flag too the fact that Lion did end up killing that Storm Spirit. Sorry, I wasn't watching that one. But that's why his finger's now on cooldown.
So that's the Blink Dagger.
Yep.
So it just seems like multiple times now Weeha's been caught off just because he doesn't know the item timings of Alliance and doesn't assume the worst. Like he says, okay, well now I know the Yules is up on the Lina, but I didn't know about the Blink Dagger on the Lion. It's just like he's only thinking of the present tense instead of the very near future, and it's costing him a lot of lives on this Storm.
Well, normally you also rely on your support heroes to one, get you vision so you can look for this stuff. Mad's in a hell of a lot of trouble. They're going to kill him off nice and quick. But it flags the fact there's 4 heroes smoked up outside Roshan. And with a Vengeful Spirit as well as a Bristleback, you want to try and go for Roshan. That's Nasal Goo plus Wave of Terror. That's good negative armor stacks. But the problem you're going to have is Lotus walking around with a Shadow Blade. They drop the Sentry Ward now, realizing he's that close. And Pycat, well, they already try to send him. Yeah, they're sending Loda back. So he can't.
No, they sent the army in. They brought the army in.
Okay, but Lotus, okay, there's your Dark Pact. He breaks free of it. Your RP, catch up Skywrath Mage. There's not enough initial damage. The Slark is able to run himself so far away that they ended up just pulling their team up again. Levi's going to die inside the Chen army. And Loda, looking for the leash, couldn't get it over on the Storm Spirit, but starts shifting that essence out again. There's no more follow through until they just say, well, let's kill off Roshan. But how many times have, I almost feel like the Alliance is playing more like the Empire. The shields are up and BBC for some reason don't see them. They just chase the bait like Admiral Akbar.
Yeah, exactly. They are walking into many traps here, and it's just, I mean, like you called it, they had just gone for a 4v1 play with the lasso right next to Roche. It's got to be implicit that that's what's going on, vision or not. So the Alliance responds well. They get in with who they need, and it is a little bit fortunate the Dark Pact came out when it did. It's not too difficult to say, okay, there's heroes right on top of me. I'm gonna get disabled. I have to dispel that, but. The fact that it came out with that haste rune, it just means that they can't pin him down, and Loda could start the fight off the way they need to.
So BBC, they are actually in a position where they could have potentially won this, and I'm saying this 7 minutes in, where things were looking nice and even. But as we both knew, as we were also saying before, when you have timings like this for Alliance, BBC couldn't let up. They had to keep attacking. They had to keep getting on top of Alliance. And when you don't have things like important items like an Orchid of Malevolence finished over on the Storm Spirit, yet somehow Yapzor's been able to walk around with 9 kills, firstly on the Skywrath Mage, and he picked up a Rod of Atos for him.
Yeah.
There's just no disable. There's no lockdown control on this Alliance lineup. And the Bristleback, as you were saying, it doesn't really matter with the Vanguard and the SMY. It's still not tanky enough to deal with what Alliance is dishing out. The VS can't really save. The Batrider can get the grab, but can't get the drag. There's just not enough coming their way where you have Blink and 4-Staff over on Magnus. You're looking at Mad with a Blink, and looks like he's also starting either 4-Staff or Your Scepter. Loda is starting his Skadi which he's only now 1,400 gold away from completing. Arcane's got 4 staff as well with the Arcanes in the mech. And that leaves, well, who does that leave? That leaves our Lina, who has an Aghanim Scepter, a Yule Scepter, and by the looks of it, the start of a Lincoln Sphere.
Oh, thinks it's a solo pick onto the Batrider, pops off his Dark Pack, but using the ultimate, he's going to still get the kill.
He should be able to. Bottle charges in the VS swap time bought him that moment. Loda, the orb is flying his way. He needs more life. He'll break the Aegis. That's why he went for it. He's not going to find it, but then again, Mag found a double RP. It's the 2 supports. The Light Striker Ray connects perfectly, and Pycast is beating the crap out of him. A double kill for him. And that's that fiery soul coming into play. The power of the Ranger is strong in Pycat, even though he couldn't be any more blonde.
And now just able to cruise on through. Easy tier 2, gonna pressure the tier 3, and it's gotta be a lot of really good play from Weehaw to actually... Oh, jeez, ouch.
There's still a finger of death available too. That's almost the sad part about it. Pycat can start with this. If it's not enough, then Mad just puts the final finger into the hole to put the nail down.
Yeah, but 950 pure, there's very few that survive it at this stage, and their only way to defend right now is Storm Spirit jumping back and forth between the Fountain as quickly as he can. Just Ball Lightning Zip, Fountain to the tier 3, Fountain to the tier 3, and just burn through them. They don't have the Aegis. Loda did lose that to the Skywrath Mage, but it's still a really good fight.
It really doesn't matter right now. Like, the Storm could look to jump in with its Orchid, but the hilarious thing is, who's he going to initiate on? This Orchid is actually so far behind that the only person he could potentially initiate it on is Lion. Because he can't do it on Lina, because he'll Yule Scepter. He could potentially do it on the Magnus, but potential Force Staff could get him away. I highly doubt that Loda is going to care, because he'll either have Shadow Dance or Dark Pack probably triggering off as the Storm is jumping in.
Yeah, and he can also Shadow Blade out if the Storm doesn't have detection behind it, so it's not like he's going to pick that off out in the open field, only with supports. And right now, BBC just have problems rallying to the positions where they're actually going to find those kills. They keep on going individually, getting okay farm, but Alliance just have a full understanding with all these aggressive wards, and they go right back in mid.
It's not Lincoln's. It's not Lincoln's. It's Refresher.
Oh, yeah, that is actually the carry Lina, essentially. You get 2 Lagunas, that's 1900 pure damage going right to one person, or spread the love amongst all your enemies.
Magnus is dead. Where's your jump up? Mad, he's just going to finger it. And the Mystic Flare is going to make him regret that pretty quickly with the Dark Pack. They keep alive the prospect, but Loda, he's able to pounce himself up, gets the tether, needs a hell of a lot more help, however. Battling up against so many, the Hand of God, and in comes your Chen army. The orb attack won't be enough, especially with the Meg to help out. Maybe it will be once Weehaw jumps in. He got the Orchid over on Loda, but Arcade still got an army. And looks like BBC is not going to try and force the issue there. They at least don't have to deal with Pycat, because he's not there yet. But he's moving over in Invis. There's Observer and Sentry that saw him come in. And then Laguna 1. There's no need to use Refresher until he's got a chance for a double.
Could conserve it. Has plenty of mana regen going for him right now. 20 with the Yules, with a little bit of intelligence across the board. But that regen rune is what he's banking on, is to get that full combo off at once.
So high ground.
He's having a fun game. You could tell. Pycat's just doing a little victory dance there. The regen rune should be expiring shortly since he just picked up the Invis recently, but yeah, he's still just, there's the regen rune. So he will have mana issues trying to go for a full double combo, but you wait 10 seconds and you're going to have enough.
Batrider, he found Arcade, dragging you back to the Mystic Flare. They're going to get the kill very quickly. And they're going to lose this Centaur as well. They realize that, and then again with that Centaur stomp, Weehaw makes the jump. He's down a half of his mana. Make that a third of his mana, make that 0 of his mana. We're back in range of the tier 3 tower. So it's safety for him. But I'm still watching Pycat so closely. Is there anyone that can survive 2 full Lagunas to the face on BBC?
There is like 46 health on Bristleback after 2 Lagunas to the face. That's all they've got going for them right now.
So he's the only one. Everyone else is a guaranteed kill.
96, but yeah, everybody else is completely dead, and some of them just from 1. Like, we see the Venge is 100 HP away, The Batrider, he drops quick. Oh gosh, this is just disastrous for them. It really is. Just a breeze will knock them over after even one ultimate, and the timing of these items are just absurd. The net worth advantage for both Pycat and Loda is out of this world, and they've been dominating the map from, like you said, it was like the 7-minute mark that things turned on their head, and BBC had the DDoS issues, and then they, as a whole, just couldn't rally to get the picks they needed. Now they scout out the Mud Golems with Napalm. I guess they're dewarding with that gem, but they find something funny instead.
I think they need to get rid of the first Mud Golem that was there. They're not blocking the camp, right? Where they are? They shouldn't block them up there.
Nah, nothing. I think over like here on the eastern side of it might, but like this spot should be completely clear.
No. It's normally we don't have units. There are many units there. Like maybe every now and then you get one, and he sits on the ward spot, so that's perfectly alright. Yeah, it doesn't block the afterward to spawn up. Batrider's looking for a jump. RK's the primary target again because he's their primary healer. Blink Dagger's on cooldown for 1 second time. Waiting for that jump to come in from the Magnus. Nikwa waiting the timeout as long as he possibly can. Finger, Laguna, there's Refresher. One more to do it. Nah, he can't reach him. That's a 1-for-1 trade-off. Mad won't be able to reach up to the Bristleback. But Loda with inside the Shadow Blade chasing after that Storm, who jumps practically halfway across the map in order to get away to freedom. TPing as he goes.
So the Refresher's on cooldown for Pycat, didn't get the second one off, and the first one went to the back of the Bristle, so going to be mitigated 40%. But overall, still, they're keeping control. The Chen is the right target, though. If BBC want to take a fight, it's got to be taking the Chen out. They can't cluster too hard because of the Magnus Lina, but they still have to open on that Chen if there's any hope of actually bringing somebody else down. Because you already called it that, like, it's extremely hard for Storm to jump with Orchid, but factor in that Hand of God. If that's available, then nobody's a sure kill.
Yep. Which kind of means they have to protect RK a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Like, put him at the back of the line. Always have someone like Lion next to him, because the Storm's going to jump in with the Orchid. It's difficult to get the grab. But if you're capable of hexing him as he jumps in, because there's no defensive items. Storm Spirit has 3k, so potentially there could be a BKB up shortly. But that's shortly, that's not now. And even if it is going to be a BKB, Lion is fantastic against that. Because all he's got to do is get the hex up before the BKB triggers, which means the BKB has to trigger before Storm Spirit jumps in. All of these things are not really exactly the way the Storm Spirit wants to play it out. He needs to make the use of every microsecond of that BKB.
So at this point, Magnus is working towards it as a Refresher as well. Going to be a couple thousand before he actually acquires it. But Loda's also got an Oblivion Staff. I don't think this is going to be like a BM Refresher orb, but possibility.
No, it's the Orchid is the right thing. Even if it's up against the Bristleback, it's still going to be effective.
Mm-hmm.
If it's up against the Skywrath Mage, it's still going to be effective. I think he might be a little bit sadder, though. He might have wanted to go for something more like the Diffusal Blade, considering that Ghost Scepter is going to cause him some level of problems. What's she going to go for Roshan? This is a big chance here for BBC. The Firefly will give him the vision. There's your jump in. Oh, he missed on Loda. The Dark Pack was already up. Or was that on something else?
No, it was on Loda. He just packed it off perfectly. They saw him with the Word Vision, and no siree.
My eyesight is working then. Whoop, load up, pounced up on top of the cliff. Sorry, flame breaked up, and then Storm Spirit. Oh, that lasted long. Laguna Blade to get the kill. Roshan was killed by the Radiant. Slark has the Aegis, the Immortal in his greasy little paws. As the blink up, there's your seal. Mystic Flare, Nikwa. The Hand of God keeps him alive, but it's not enough to survive the entire time. And now they're actually making the most of the Ghost Scepter, allowing Pycat to get another Laguna Blade attack in. They can start draining at the mana of this Bristleback, and that'll allow Mad to, do nothing, because the Magic Missile lead by swapping himself out to that one. Pycat's going to get Orchided. There's no real opening for him, and are they already sending back? Yeah, Pycat's being sent back to base. Gets one last Line Strike Array over on the Storm Spirit, giving space for Loda to move away from here, but they have the Gem of True Sight, and there's too long left on this Shadow Dance. The Firefly will wear off. He cuts through the tree line. Aegis Immortal will have to trigger. 9 seconds until he can use his Shadow Dance. They're still on top of him with the Gem. The Vortex, the Orchid, Loda is out. This will be a double, but in the back line, Pycat! He's going to get himself a double kill. The perfect Line Strike Array. Blink the TP out to safety. So they lose the Gem on the ground. They do end what was quite a nice little spree there for Loda. Not a huge one, but There's a bigger one that was just witnessed and gave a lot of items to viewers, and that's in the hands of the Lina. 12-4-9. That's the current KDA for the Lina.
Just freshly picked up BOTs, finds the flank with the creep wave already pushed in, and yeah, all they have to do is just claim one lane of racks to know that they've got this game completely in the bag. Obviously, it's already looking terrible for BBC, especially if Mag finishes the refresher, but you gotta at least give them some hope here. They get the BKB just now on Bristle, and that means Laguna and RP are the only things he really has to worry about.
Can someone give mercy to these mud golems?
Please, just lasso them down, just delivery service, anything.
It's kind of okay with like the two sitting on the top because at least they're not having their home stolen or getting massively cramped. But it's just this one mud golem who's injured, who just seems to be running a treadmill backwards. I feel so sorry for him.
No place to call home. That is ugly. But maybe no, they're just gonna keep leaving it there. It looks like they're there to stay for all eternity. And not only are you reincarnated as a mud golem in the first place, but to be trapped on a cliff for the rest of your life, that's probably the worst thing I've seen in Dota 2.
That's all I remember of mud golems. The saddest sound in history. It's almost sad too. The Dota 2 reporter is probably going to come to an end.
Really? Oh, that is sad.
Yeah, you got to read the articles on JD, man. There's a big one about it. Let you know all the information.
I figure Raunchy would have tweeted it out, but gosh, no. I enjoy that series a lot.
I think he did. I actually have to reread the article again because I forgot the details of it. Looks like we got ourselves a Bloodstone. Hello, hello, hello. Bloodstone Orchid, so screw defensive items like BKB. This man's wanting to go for the full momentum and quick respawn.
BKB wouldn't do enough for him anyways. Like, they have the full hate of the entire team against him, and he will be eating 2 Lagunas if Pycat has anything to say about it.
That was a refresher from Slark. I cannot believe it's not even like a cypher or anything like that.
Thought he might. I thought he might.
Well, the hilarious thing is he died because he couldn't get his Shadow Dance back up again. So that's one way to do it.
Doesn't solve his mana problems, though.
No. In fact, it actually increases his mana problems. 375 mana for the refresher, 75 for the Shadow Blade. That burns through quite a large amount. Okay, Levi was possibly greatest position he could have been in to survive this. They're looking for a gank. Mad looks exposed, but he's not. He's here with help. Pycat has to be lassoed, but they're actually missing up their control. The RP comes in. Storm Spirit, where's your Mystic Flare? It's not doing enough damage at the moment. Pycat, though, he's in huge amounts of trouble. He can only get one Laguna Blade off. The Bat Rider will drop, but Nick was in here. One more attempt to kill off Yapsaw and load up. Well, he wish he had a Basher right now. Instead of that Refresher Orb, he's not going to get the stun over on Levi. While TPs himself out inside the tree line. So the gem was dropped by BBC. It was in the hands of the Bat Rider, and Loda's going to grab it now. But you just had a 2-for-1 trade-off. Actually, was there a buyback from Lina? Yeah, it was a buyback from Lina in that too.
A little bit of rage buyback. I mean, he feels like he has all the gold in the world, and why not? Like, he's 5-slotted perfectly. He's only going to progress towards either a Hex or a right-click item at this point, but even still, it is going to be an unnecessary buyback. Doesn't get them much more, and they have to consider BBC have some chance of coming back into this. You can only play Calamity for so long before you realize, hey, we're feeding away a lot of that comeback gold.
That's rubber band effect. Let it bounce, let it ping. That Bloodstone couldn't have come at a better time. Second he gets it, he gets 2 charges. Perfect.
Gonna need him.
Start racking him. His team will need him as well. We have ourselves our 3rd Refresher Orb in for Alliance. As now Nikwa is also a proud owner of the little green ball.
I know I can trust you guys.
So we've got Yule. We've got 3 Yules. You refresh one of those, you got a 4th. You've got double RP. You've got double Shadow Dance, double Laguna. These guys, they are just refreshing it up.
He's on the other team. We get the Aghanim Scepter from Skywrath Mage too. Hilarious thing is though, mana pool wise, it doesn't really have enough
for the double abyssal
to support it. He's got enough to cast it, but if you're throwing a combo, then you don't have enough, and your regeneration isn't high enough either to justify the Agate Interceptor. I would really prefer to see something else
Take that.
along the lines of even if it's a Yules yourself, or I don't know if you could have gone for a Scythe. You might have been waiting a little bit longer to pick that one up, but that would be a lot more effective.
Sure. Just get the refreshed arcane boots from Magnus to double that up, and maybe he'll be able to actually work around a little bit better.
Well, if only Magnus was going to help him. He's on the wrong team. He's got no refreshers on his own team to help him out with that. Now, Matt jumps in, Finger of Death starts on the Vengeful Spirit. It was his position to kind of screw with Alliance last time around. Hence, he became the primary target here, and there's that bash now over on Loda. Got the first little proc onto the Bristleback, but he's not going to find a kill without a lot more help from his teammates. But they just do this slowly.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe, I mean, if they get one kill off of the double Mystic Flare, it's definitely something, but you're just walking back to Fountain immediately after that.
Look at Pycat. I swear he's just like, looks like he's just on crack as he's attacking, because he's empowered as well as being fiery salt. Blink, lasso, they're dragging him back in again. Pycat needs help. The RP catches out too. The Yule Scepter up, saves him from the Mystic Flare. There's your second RP. They hold the Bat Rider as well as the Storm Spirit in position. The Bat can buy back. The Range Rex is still not gone down yet, and there's your Storm Spirit buying back. So far in, but the Yule Scepter up again. Man wants to follow up something, missed the timing of it. He'll at least get the Hex into the Dark Pack. Weeha so low, it's going to be a dieback for him. Loda gets even a bash onto the Bat Rider, but he's all alone here. He needs help. The Shadow Dance has been used twice. He did burn through the Refresher Orb. Nikwa, there's not much he can do apart from let Loda juke it out himself, pounce around, Shadow Blade's back off cooldown, and he's away. They dropped the sentry, but they did not get the gem back into their hands. And in fact, he's looking for a kill on the Skywrath Mage. Nope. Not taking the risk. Run away.
Jumping on that would probably be just 2 Mystic Flares right to his face, so yeah, definitely the right retreat. They need to at least recognize the maximum potential of BBC. Right there with the buybacks, they can feel like they still had a victory there because of how much they forced out, but the game isn't over just yet.
It might get a little bit rougher for BBC, because there's going to be a double Abyssal Blade in the next fight.
Yeah.
Loda's just got the 3.8k, so he can buy the Sacred Relic. And BBC's going to be also quite annoyed. Roshan's another 40 seconds away.
You gotta wonder if there would have been any value, if now that they're actually getting items through these kills, if BBC could have gotten some Linked Spheres. Against the, if you BKB and you have a Linked Sphere on you, then you're not going to get hit by a Laguna Blade, Abyssal Blade, something like that. So I kind of feel like comboing that up, maybe on the Bristleback, or just whoever you want to survive, I think that's actually a pretty good item to pick up. Maybe Weehaw uses it for team utility.
I'm liking this choice from Pycat. With a BKB over on him, maybe once he's going to get his refresher off during the middle of a team fight and use 2 Laguna Blades. I still to this point have not seen it. It might have happened during that last fight and I just missed it. But I haven't seen Pycat so far being able to use 2 Laguna Blades during one engagement.
Yeah. So, I mean, how do you fix that though? I guess you turn the Yules into a Hex at this point?
Oh, I don't think it's a mana problem. I think it's a problem the fact that BBC keep focusing him. He's the target the Bat Rider's going to jump. He's the hero that Skywrath Mage drops the Mystic Flare on. The BKB will be his protection from that. That's how he fixed it.
Presumably, yeah. I mean, it's still the lasso's been what started it, but if he get BKB while the lasso's up, at least he's not taking all that damage, and you're going to get a chance to bail him out with the Chen heals, which is about to be level 16, and that will be, of course, 100 extra healing coming out from the Hand of God.
Roshan time for BBC. With -7 armor, -9 armor over on Roshan. Loda knows what's going on, but they're all coming in too late. Do they want to take a fight into a team with an Aegis? I suppose it's easier to fight here. What, the RP only caught one. They tried to go for the YOLO. Pycat comes in looking for that Laguna Blade. The BKB to protect him, and he blinks himself down after. Well, actually, has got the refresher orb. It's still on cooldown for 15 more seconds, but it is still a 1-for-1 trade-off. Loda stuck inside the pip. The Shadow Dance, the Sentry Ward will drop. In fact, sorry, it was the Shadow Blade that was used to try and protect him, but that won't be successful. The Aegis is still in the hands of the Storm Spirit as Weeha. He's got a regeneration rune up his sleeve. Well, unfortunately, he can't use it. He keeps taking damage from the creeps. So he had to buy himself some space. And BBC come out on top. A Roshan kill. The 2-for-1 trade-off. And according to my records here, oh, they actually found Pycat.
Oh!
Pycat.
He refreshed his BKB!
Yep.
That
And then blinks. It actually brought his Blink Dagger off cooldown as well as his BT, so he could TP himself back to base.
Wow.
Legend.
That's utility. Jeez.
Oh.
That's very frustrating for your Storm Spirit. He's no longer going to have that Aegis, and it's just another kill that you're not going to get by. Of course, that means no refresher to deal with for 2.5 minutes, but I got to go back to that fight and say that Ake must have had some kind of either lag or just was not thinking about the plays that he needed to make in that fight, because he kept the hand of God the entire time. That people would drop in left and right. The Magnus was getting jumped on by the Storm, and he doesn't Testifate the Magnus, no Hand of God, and no Yules on the Storm Spirit, who was perfectly usable within his range. So Ake might have been focusing on his creeps when he needed to be focusing on his hero, or vice versa. But in the end, it just seemed like he could have made a huge contribution in that fight, and he just sat on the sidelines.
Maybe they're playing by handicap. Just like these mud columns still on the cliff. Everyone's feeling handicapped.
Chen could just persuade them and lead them to victory. I don't know.
Jump, top lane, Laguna, finger. There goes the Storm Spirit. The Yule Scepter is up, and that's sending the Bat Rider twice up into the air, in fact. The second one being Pycat's. Geometry Sight still on the ground, and Pycat swap back down again. He does have BTs back off cooldown, but with the blink forward and the flame break with the slowdown from the Rod of Aoi, they're able to have Pycat in the sidelines for 2 minutes. He did buy back previously, and that buyback timer has come. Actually, no, he can still buy back. It's 2 minutes, but he waited so long since his last buyback. It's already come back off cooldown. He just has to deal with a death timer as Loader, jumping in quite deep to bristle back. Triggers the BKB, and Loader's happy with this. He just gets himself out.
So, we've been sitting at a bit of a stalemate with only one racks down. For a while now, Alliance has been hovering around 20,000 gold in a net worth advantage, and just dropped down recently below 10k in experience. At what point does it stop becoming just a stalemate where everything draws even? When are we going to actually see some forward momentum in this game?
The only way it's going to happen, I feel, is if BBC either completely wipe a fight and take out a tier 2, tier 3 tower. Like, that's going to open up the racks. I don't see them taking a racks after one fight. They have to win like 2 fights in a row for that one. Or Alliance catch BBC out of position. They take out critical heroes, which means either the Bat Rider, the Storm Spirit, or the Bristleback have to die. And then they force up high ground with all 5 men and every ulti up and running. That's how I see Alliance winning this game. On a mistake from PBC during an initiation. And just doesn't have to be a big one. Just a small positional mistake will be enough for Alliance. Because BBC have pulled their heads in since the early fights when they were basically just following the little ball and string like cats. Like, that hasn't happened since that point. They haven't gone, oh, let's go Loda, yucky yucky. Like, no, it's not that. It's let's fight as 5, pull our heads in, and we can do this. We go a little over aggressive, but everyone else works as a proper squad.
One thing I gotta say is, finding that opportunity that you're talking about for Alliance, it's gonna be difficult in the sense that they have absolutely no vision. The creeps are pushing it on top because of the help of the racks, the super range creeps, and Chen can scout a little bit with his neutrals, but overall, this Geometry Sight that's been sitting on Bat Rider for a decent bit here is causing some issues. It was traded back and forth once or twice, but for the vast majority of this game, Bat Rider has had this gem, and he's been limiting the vision. So they have to go for a smoke play, a little bit blind here, but thankfully Loda has that night vision.
Yep. He's got to find that opening into the Shadow Blade so he can run himself up further. And the only person they can see is the Bristleback, but this is so obviously a trap. And here they jump. How much damage can they do before the trap is sprung? Storm Spirit jumping in a long way. That RP, I'm not seeing it in just yet, but they've already got the kill over on the Vengeful Spirit, who tries to swap his teammate out, but without a Abyssal Blade, they're controlling up the Bat Rider. Luna's able to do, he's got a second Abyssal Blade because of the refresher, and they're doing it so much damage here. It's going to be enough. BBC, they tried to battle outside their own base. They'll lose 4. Weeha will run himself away to safety on the back of a TP Ball Lightning. But BBC, buyback-wise, they only have the Bristle and the Skywrath Mage. I do not feel that this will suffice.
Trap or not, it is going to be the fact that they just have so many major ultimates to bring to these fights that makes it happen for them. We're going to see a pretty quick respawn from Weehaw, as he does have that Bloodstone, but yeah, just double RP, double Laguna, all these cooldowns just coming into play, and in the end, BBC don't have the damage. Now popping everything they have, they're going to go as 3.
And the Alliance, they've penetrated the Forest Moon of Endor right now, and BBC, they're trying to repel them at least. Careful of the Ewoks. Oh, yeah, I think there's enough Star Wars references for tonight. Nope, they're jumping back in. They're going on Yatsor. Load up with a finger. Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's just the finger. That's not even Laguna. Doing the work. Skywrath Mage's down. That's a double set of Raxus. And the bottom is completely exposed. The creep wave's already come in through the top, so all they gotta do is just keep Loader on the front lines, beating him. He's got 7.1k right now. Like, and with a blink to Yule, step to the Light Striker rate, he caught Levi as well as the Bandrider, even though Bandrider's going to unlock instead of a lasso. High Cat, Laguna Blade, he's going to die primarily because there's a huge amount of Warpath stacks over on that Bristleback, but you may as well just buy him back. BTM, he's coming into the top lane while the rest of his teammates are mopping up the rest of BBC. This game is practically over. The bottom racks will go. This will bring in Mega Creeps VS. They still want to fight to the bitter end, but Mega Creeps are up and running. An Alliance, do they just stick around? You got the advantage, a 5-on-3 situation, and you've still got an RP available. And you got RP, you got a Hand of God, and there it is. GG, well played. Nick was going to go for one last glory, and he's going to catch out too. Dragon back, Pyket even stuns up the Bristleback just to add insult to injury. They get one last for the road, and Alliance will take a 2-0 victory. Congratulations.
Yeah, very nicely done. Obviously, they had a little bit of fun with this one too. They didn't follow through with the optimal, perfect item builds just to win it outright. They enjoyed themselves and they had a great game overall. And it really came down to the fact that BBC just never really got tempo after the 10-minute mark. If they were able to really put that a net worth pressure out where they were getting the item timings they needed, the Orchid before people got tanky, then maybe we could have seen a very different game. But as it was, it went late. Alliance, they had the draft that they needed for that kind of situation, and they take a very nice win.
That they do. So congratulations to Alliance. They keep their D2CL hopes alive. Of course, you can check all the information out for the D2CL at d2cl.org, or you can check out that wonderful website which has everything and the place where you can rely on the match ticket to be up to date. We've actually got proper hired staff helping out for that one. Shout out to KitKat. As well as, of course, our great base of volunteers who do amazing, amazing work for that ticker. It's, I believe, actually the most up-to-date ticker out there right now, next to GGNet. But it's a little bit more updated for the tournaments that we do. Yeah. Okay, I think that's enough self-promotion. Oh yeah, subscribe to my channel, Toby1, over on Twitch. It's great. I'm currently on the sub-hype train to see if I can get more subscribers than Cap does. But I'm sure some very nice person will provide the link inside the Twitch chat. But yeah, we do private streams and stuff. I was doing that before we even started tonight. And I'll be back tomorrow. Right on this live stream, the D2CL comes back 10 CEST. I'm casting our first series, which is LGD going up against Invictus Gaming. That'll be a best of 3. I'm casting that one with Cinderin, and then Blitz, who arrived today, will be coming in to cast the grand final, which is the winner of that first series up against VG Gaming. We've also got a big night of D2CL coming up tomorrow night, where we have Empire going up against Power Rangers, and BU, who are leading the current run, top of the run, will be going up against BBC, and even more action coming up with ESL. You can check it out all the time, all the time over on Join Dota. It's the place to go. So thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for casting as well, Blaze. It's been fun. Our first time, actually, I believe.
Yeah, definitely. It was pleasure's all of mine, and hopefully we can do it again sometime.
Yeah, that we will. All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time.